I have to start this video off by apologizing to you. Um, I've been sitting here for a little while trying to figure out what the best way to do this is. And unfortunately, the only way I can think of is to make this a project that is worth 2 grades. But I have to apologize because, as you can see as I scroll down this page, there is an awful lot of information on this page, and you are going to have to read it all, and you are going to have to present it all. And it's just the way it is. Um, Normally, if we were in class, as you can see, there are 11 steps and then an introduction, and that means 12. And I would break that into 4 separate groups, each dealing with 3 sections. And then in each group, usually there was about 4 people. So that would mean one person doing step one person doing step two. And that made it very easy because, as you can see, like here's step one, there's not that much for one person to do. But now, because of COVID, you're just going to have to do the whole thing by yourself. And the caveat to that is that I will make it worth 2 grades. And it is what it is because you have to learn this information. And I can't have you, if you're in my classroom, you can't work in groups because you can't social distancing. And if you're at home, you can't work in groups because you're at home. So it is what it is, and we're just rolling with it as it is, but you do need to learn what the engineering design process is. So basically, here's all the information that you're going to need, and you're going to go through all this information, and you're going to create a Prezi presentation. So I'm going to now jump over to Prezi, and here's the Prezi page, prezi.com, and I will add this link in the assignment. But when you get here, this is your process. You're going to click on Students. You could click on Get Started, but it's then going to ask you, are you a educator, a student, or a business? So you might as well skip to that part and just click Students. And then here you get to this page. Now every time kids get to this page, they say, oh, it's making me pay. No, you have to come over here and click Basic. And then you'll see that there is a free option. So you're going to click that free option. And then you're going to enter in your name. I would use your Humble ISD email and your password. Now, here it says, I certify that I am at least 13 years old and I have reached a minimum age limit to set out in the laws of my country or residence. You are going to click that even if you are not 13 years old. And if it at any point asks for your actual age, you are going to tell them that you are at least 13 years old. For those of you who don't like to do math, it's very simple. You were born in the year 2000. Okay. Now, I will disclaimer this because I know you're sitting at home and it's like, oh, well, are you breaking the law? No, you are not breaking the law. Here's the reason why they ask you to do that. This is because Prezi presentation is kind of like a social media site. Everything that you create will be public that people can see. However, only I am really going to be looking at your presentation, and I have in 6 years of teaching been doing this, and in 6 years of teaching I have never had a student post inappropriate material on their Prezi. If in the event that were to occur, I would know about it because you're using your Humble ISD account. So I will be able to see it as your teacher, at which point then we will have a conversation with your parents and go through the disciplinary action. But like I said, in 6 years of teaching, I have never had one student do anything inappropriate with Prezi. So I don't anticipate that that is going to happen. And if you don't click this little button, then what will happen is it will ask for your parents to verify your account, and that will be an extra step in the process that might make it hard for you to finish your work. Now, the other thing I'm going to say, every once in a while, because it hasn't happened every time, but sometimes it does happen, you will put your Humble ISD account in there, and then it will want to verify your account. And I'm not entirely sure why that happens for some kids, but it doesn't happen for other kids because I've had both sides of the paper. At which point, if it does not work and it will not allow you to do what you need to do without verifying your account, then you will have to put in a personal email. So I'm just covering those bases before I get to them. So I'm not going to create a basic account because I already have an account with my Humble ISD email. So I'm just going to click my Humble ISD, sign in with Google, which once you create an account, you will be able to do as well. And then here we are with your Prezis. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what to do with Prezi. Okay. There's Prezi practice. Well, I actually no, that's not. These are all Prezi tutorials. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at that. For 6 years, I did have one extra, but these are the 6 I've created over the years for the students that I've been doing this with. If you come over here to the library, these are recommended Prezis, reusable videos. There are tutorials, and that's actually what I'm looking for you. I think it might actually be in Prezi Classic. Let me look real quick. No, so they've changed Prezi because this is actually very different from what I'm used to. So just use regular Prezi. Prezi Classic is the old school one, but they did change it. And like if we go over here to YouTube real quick, I'm pretty sure, because I remember there used to be tutorials, and I'll probably post a tutorial in your tutorial for beginners, because I remember there. Well, here you go. How to use Prezi. This actually used to be on the front page, so I'm going to post this up with the assignment on how to use Prezi. You know, if you want to really get into it, you know, because some people like it. But I'm not going to go super crazy right now in showing you. I'm just going to give you the basics, right, of what you need to do for this assignment. So you're going to create a new presentation, and then you're going to go to education, nonprofit. It literally does not matter which one you pick. You can pick anything you want. You can pick any. You can pick HR and training, whatever you want. Okay. So if you go to the top general and you scroll down, it will go through all of them for you. But I like to just skip to education. And like I said, it absolutely does not matter which presentation you pick. You pick the one that you like because they're all editable the way you want. So I'm just going to click this one because it's research project and we're doing a project, right? So I hit use, and you want to title this the engineering design process, and hit see. So now who can see this presentation? People I share with or anybody on the web. I'm going to click anybody on the web. I guess it now gives you the option for people I share it with. Once upon a time, a free account only meant that you can have anyone on the web. I'm not 100% sure that a student count will let you just share it with the people that you share it with, or maybe it won't let you share on the web. I'm not exactly sure, but whichever option you pick, it really doesn't matter. Okay, if you pick people I share it with, you will be sharing it with me, so that's fine. If you pick anybody on the web, I'll still be able to see it, so it really doesn't matter. So you're gonna hit continue. And now it's going to create that template for you. So we're just going to wait for it to do that. Sometimes it takes a hot minute. This will take however long your internet takes, and also your computer. Some of you are using the Chromebooks, and I know that the Chromebooks sometimes have issues. But here we go. It's done. Okay. So this is your overview, this is your main thing, right? So if we go back to what it is, it says, what is the engineering design process? I would literally copy that. from the page, and then I would come over here and, well, actually, I probably wouldn't use the whole question, to be honest with you. I would probably just say the engineering design process. And make sure you type properly. Now, as you can see, it doesn't all fit on one thing. So you can resize it here by hitting D up and down, decrease and increase size. But I'm just going to get rid of the, because now it looks good to me, engineering design process. I'm okay with that look. So now, here's the other key point I want you to notice. Now, if I hit the present button, it will close my video because then it's taking over my screen, and my screen capture is currently taking over my screen. So you really don't, I don't want to do that right now because I don't want to mess up the video. But you want to know what the process is by which people go. So if you see, here's the overview. So if I click on overview, I'm currently looking at the overview. Then if I click on one, that's the next slide that I'm going to see. Okay, so in your presentation, okay, so if I go back, now I'm in the overview. So this is showing you 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but when you click on one, so when I go to my presentation, okay, when I'm actually presenting this, when I hit next on the slide, this is the next thing that people are going to see. Okay, and as you can see, there's this little thing over here that says problem statement. So if I click that, it takes me to problem statement. Okay, so Prezi is really an interactive, it's a more interesting way of presenting than like Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, it makes it kind of cool. It lets you go inside of things. It zooms in, etc. So right off the bat, just to keep it simple for you, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add another one of these shapes. So as you see, it's even showing you it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But if I want more, right, because there are 12 steps, so I can add more of these and I can resize them. Okay, so I would do that, right? I would say, I think I can just copy this, right? And then if I hit Control V, it did not do it that way. Oh, there it is. Okay, it did do it. Okay, so now you move things around. Okay, so this is like the basic thing that I want to show you is I would then move this here. Okay, and then I would go Control V again. Okay, as you see, as I'm doing that, the screen is adjusting its size for me. It even gives me the guides to make sure that I'm all lined up. See how it's red there? I'm going to hit Control V again. Okay, and it just keeps adding them for me. It keeps changing the size of the screen. You know, I'm going to move engineering design process, but I'm going to take this. Now, yes, it says prototypes each time, but we're going to change that. And like I said, this is just a basic. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's go another one. Okay, you got 8. Okay, one more. No, 3 more. 9. And I'm zooming out. You zoom out by using your little scroll, the scroll on your mouse. If you don't have a scroll on your mouse, I believe it is up here, but it's hard for me to see because I don't have the, because I am doing my screen capture. But there is an option for zooming. So I'm just moving these and making ones enough to have. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. Yeah, I mean, this is not a perfect scenario, so, but there it is. I'm looking for my guides. There. Okay, Control V, and this is the last one. It's not really a pretty place to put that, I guess. But I mean, it doesn't have to be amazing. Okay, so there you go. And I'll move this so it's centered, right? So now I have one for each one, right? And that's basically what you want, is one box for each topic. I will adjust the size of this. And now, just, to make it look a little bit more uniform, probably put it over here. So you're going to play with it, you're going to mess with it. But now, as you can see, it says prototypes like 1,000 times. That's not that's not what you want. At which point I would then come down here, right? And you have, if you go back over here, this is one. So now you've made a bunch, and it's like, oh, which one's which? Well, you still keep your overview. So I click over here. I didn't want to go into it. I just wanted to go to, okay, that's, sometimes it's a little kooky with the, so let's see, path settings, no. Overview, topic page. You can change how the path goes. I was actually looking for, I think, if I remember, this is, okay, so here we go. Now we clicked on it, we can actually see which is one, right? So this is one right here. One. That's okay. This is one. Okay. So the one that is in blue, yeah, see, it's going into it. I don't really want it to go into it. But the one that's in blue, so this one is one. And you'll see that you're on it because it's on one. So just, you got to pay attention, because like you see how I added a whole bunch and now it's kind of kooky. So this one says project introduction, right? I want introduction. Probably not project though. I would say, I would actually just copy the question, to be honest. So what is the engineering design process? Copy, go into it and hit Control V. What is the engineering design process? So there it is. That's the question. That's also where it's starting. So now I click off. There it is. Okay. And then I would go through and do that for each one, right? So I'd literally come over here and say, you could say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, right? Or you can actually say understand, explore, define, ideate, prototype, choose. That's up to you, how you want to do that. So you could say step 1, come over here, find the number 2. So if I click, the number 2 is over here. So we got to click on number 2. There we go. Now I'm on number 2 where it says user research. I would change user research to step 1, right? So it's going, what is the engineering design process? Then after you talk about the engineering design process, then it goes to step 1, then it goes to step 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then in step 1, which is your second thing, then I would say here, understand, right? So control copy, and then instead of user research, you say understand. and then go back to the information and say define the problem, right? So then you come over here where it says click to edit text, Control V, define the problem. Then you can find an image, but this is actually not a bad stand. Define the problem. They could be looking at the problem, and these guys are talking about the problem, right? So then the next thing is going to say interviews, demographic statistics. Well, in our step 1, there's all this information. So you could have 1, 2, 3. You see 1, 2, 3? You can take this one, and this could be your interviews. Okay? So that, if I click here, it goes into interviews, but we don't want it to say interviews. So I would actually, for this one, change this, right? And you got to read the stuff, right? So it says one firm put a bid in I can't read with the blue. Sorry. One firm put in a bid to renovate the office and add 2 additional elevators. They speculated that adding more elevators would cut down on the other. Okay, so these are stories that explain what understand is. So, and coming over here, instead of it saying interviews, I would say example, because it's an example, 1, right? And now, when it comes over here to interviews, instead of interviews, I would say example 1 again. Okay, and now this stuff we don't need because they're not actually interviews. So there's nobody that I'm interviewing. There's no, this information is useless. But I do want to insert a text box and then come back over here, and for my example 1, copy this information. And then once that's done, here you want to move your little box, and then you want to resize this so it actually fits inside this polygon and looks decent. So move your little arrows around. There you go. And then if I don't like the black, I can change the color. So that's purple. White probably is the best choice for seeing. So now I can actually see that. There it is. Okay, so there's my first example. Then we go back, and then you would have your second example, your third example, as per this information, or whatever this information is. You do not have to do exactly what I did. I'm literally just giving you an idea of what to do. Okay, the key points. Okay, because I don't want this video to go forever. We're already at 23 minutes, and the bigger the video, the harder it is to upload. So the key points: you must have the intro. So what is the engineering design process, and the information in these 3 paragraphs. Actually, there's more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 7. Let me be super clear in this. I do not want you to copy and paste everything on this page. I want you to read it, and I want you to create a presentation, preferably in your own words. So if I was going to explain what is the engineering design process, I would read this, I would understand it, and then I would say it. So in my first slide, what is the engineering design process? Here we would say, what is the engineering design process? Okay, and I'm actually going to type that one. What is the engineering design process? And then fix my box here. Okay, so I would literally have that. What is the engineering design process? You could put whatever picture you want, and then here explain what the engineering design process is. Or you can wait till you get over here to the problem statement and explain what the engineering design process is. But that would be you reading this, coming up with your answer, putting it in here. Do not come over here, copy and paste all these paragraphs, and then throw it in here. Don't do that, okay? I want, it should be one, you should be able to fit what is the engineering design process in this one box, in this one text box, in this one space. You could actually literally delete this problem statement. You don't need it, okay? Like, I'll delete it, boom, it's gone. It doesn't need to be there. You could fit it in this one part. Everything that's in these paragraphs can literally be summed up in one sentence. Then you're going to have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, all the way to 11. Okay, and you are going to assimilate this information. You are going to decide how this is going to look in your Prezi. So when we get to the overview, I should see engineering design process. Make sure you put your name. Okay, so I would actually insert a text box. Okay, just like you have what is your name, or what is, engineering design process over there. I would put your name over here. So I would say Mr. Hernandez, or by Mr. Hernandez. That part's not really important, okay, but if you want to say by, you can, okay, and then of course now that's too big, so I'll shrink it down. There you go. By Mr. Hernandez, and then I should see what is the engineering design process, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I should see all the steps here. That is the base minimum, okay? Having all the steps and explaining what the process is. The rest doesn't matter. How pretty it is, how, how the most you did, whatever. That's, that I'll probably make a rubric when I'm actually creating the assignment that will say, for 100, it's got to have all this. For, a 70, it's just got to have the basic stuff. So I'll just tell you right now, the basic stuff for a 70 is you have to have what is the engineering design process and all 11 steps. And if you have those things, you're good. If you really go all out and add some videos and some pictures and you make your assignment look really, really good, that'll be 100. And then there'll be a gauge in between those two. Okay? So before this becomes a 30-minute video, that's what I want you to do for this assignment. It counts as 2 grades. This is assignment 6 and assignment 7. It will count twice, so take your time, do it right, and have fun, because Prezi can be fun. It can be fun to make a Prezi presentation. So don't rush through it, and have at it.